Once upon a time, Nerf darts looked like this. These darts have a half-inch foam body with a nearly 5/8 inch rubber head at the front. As many of you may have experienced, the fat head at the front fits just right in certain PVC and EMT pipes, allowing them to be used in powerful blowguns. Not long afterwards, Nerf began to produce a couple of variations on this basic design. For all of these darts, the half-inch foam body was used to make the seal between the dart and the barrel. These somewhat more aerodynamic Tagger darts are tipped with Velcro to stick to cloth, unlike the suction cups which stick best to glass. The Sonic darts have a large hole that whistles as they fly at high speeds. Fortunately for us, in every case, these darts have heads that fit almost perfectly in the almost 5/8 inch bore of a half-inch PVC pipe and half-inch EMT conduit. However, the large head at the front of the dart compared to the small body in the back made these darts very bad for magazines. To fix this, Nerf came out with streamlined darts. The simpler shape of the streamlined darts allows them to be easily used in the traditional spring-fed box magazines like that of the Longshot. While these streamlined darts were easier to manage in magazines, they weren't very accurate, especially at high speeds. Even though a similar fit for the streamlines could be found with Schedule 80 half-inch PVC pipe, the poor accuracy performance of the streamlined darts limited their use in higher velocity homemade Nerf guns, including blowguns. These early Plusblow designs all used the older, large-headed darts to achieve incredible range and accuracy compared with magazine-fed Nerf blasters of the time. However, unlike simple PVC pipe blowguns, the early Plusblows all used a tube magazine mounted above the barrel and a simple sliding breech mechanism. This gave the Plusblows a decent ammo capacity and a competitive rate of fire. This is the first Plusblow. It holds 6 darts in the magazine on top, which is made out of thin-wall PVC and has slots cut into it for visibility. The half-inch EMT conduit barrel on the bottom is a nice loose fit for both the suction cup darts and the Tagger darts, as well as Sonics and similar third-party knockoff darts. Darts drop one at a time from the magazine into the breech so that they can be blown through the barrel and out the muzzle here. Refire rate is pretty good and is almost comparable to a pump-action Springer. Range for this first Plusblow is about 15 to 20 meters with the Busby suction darts that I currently use. It might be a little bit farther with Tagger darts, although that comes at a small cost of accuracy. As you may have been able to tell from the firing demonstration, the breech is opened with this pipe here sliding out and closed with this pipe sliding in. If we slide away the breech cover to show you what's going on, you can see that there's a section cut out both in the magazine tube on top and in the barrel tube on the bottom. And so, if the blaster is held level after being tilted, a dart will easily fall from this tube down into this lower tube without darts that are sitting elsewhere in the magazine getting involved. This breech cover, which keeps the darts falling into the breech and not falling out of the blaster entirely, is just a bunch of cardboard and duct tape. This sort of construction is pretty normal for the type of Nerf blasters I was making at the time. All of the older Plusblows use it to some extent. Loading the Plusblow is achieved by pushing the Nerf darts past this little flap of electrical tape. You can also pull the tape out to clear out the space completely, allowing darts to drop in a little bit more easily. But the flap is in place so that darts can be pushed past the flap. However, when the blaster is tilted, the darts don't fall out. The first Plusblow also features a flexible tube at the end, which helps you from getting your teeth knocked out should you collide with another player while holding the blaster up to your mouth. This is the second Plusblow. The biggest difference between the first Plusblow and the second Plusblow is the length. Not only is the overall length about a foot longer than the original Plusblow, if you take into account the fact that the barrel doesn't really start until after the breech, The Plusblow 2 has a barrel length almost twice as long as the first Plusblow. The other changes to the Plusblow are the vertical handles and also the 45 elbow fitting as a mouthpiece. The 45 elbow provides a comfortable mouthpiece that is less catastrophic in the case of a collision than a straight piece of pipe. It's not quite as safe as the flexible tubing, but it's a bit more sanitary and it gets your mouth a little bit closer to the darts, giving you that little extra bit of power. While the Plusblow 1 had a typical effective range of 15 to 20 meters, the Plusblow 2 had an effective range of 25 to 30 meters. I'm talking about the range at which you can reasonably expect to hit a person who isn't aware that you're shooting at. By aiming up a little bit more, you can lob your darts much farther than what I consider an effective range. However, even though you can technically achieve ranges in excess of 50 meters using this technique, you're not realistically going to hit anyone at that range. The longer length of the Plusblow 2s also increased the magazine capacity by about 3 darts. This gives the Plusblow 2s a capacity of 10 darts, counting one in the chamber. You might also notice that the breech cover is achieved using these clear PETG tubes rather than the cardboard and duct tape used with the first Plusblow. This isn't actually characteristic of a design change between the first and second Plusblow. In my quest to improve reliability, I've tinkered with these over the years. This was my most recent attempt to improve the usability. I actually made 2 Plusblows in this style, the latter of which is in much better condition because the former was used in a marshmallow experiment a few years ago. The breech has never fully recovered. The breech mechanism works basically the same as the Plusblow 1, the only differences being a vertical foregrip, opening and closing the breech, and also that we're using PETG tubes to constrain the dart and keep them from falling out of the blaster entirely. I returned to the Plusblow series years after making my last Plusblow 2 in order to see if I could use 3D printing to address an issue that I haven't talked about with the other Plusblows, which is user friendliness. Certain behaviors with the gravity-fed breeches of the early Plusblows could cause jams. The most common problem was that instead of tilting up to get the darts back over the breech, then opening the breech to let the dart down as the blaster was level, and then closing it before unleveling the blaster, many people will instinctively tilt the blaster up and then open the breech. And if I move the breech cover, you can see what happens here is not good. Is the first dart goes in, drops in as intended. As you can see, the second dart has pushed it back. It may be getting into this vinyl tubing, which can get it stuck. But also, when you try to close the breech, all sorts of bad things can happen. Now, it's not uncommon to get darts sideways, backwards, chopped up, bent, folded. First way I wanted to help prevent jams was just to make it so that there was less room in the breech area for extra darts to get in. And I did this basically by using 3D printed parts that were the right shape instead of just trying to push cardboard and duct tape into the places where I want it to go. The breech can be opened fairly easily to clear out any jams that may occur. The more active system to prevent jams in this is this little tab here. As you can see, when I close the breech, this piece of plastic slides this up a little bit. That allows darts to fall back over the breech when the blaster is tilted back. However, when the breech is open, this piece of plastic goes away and the tab is allowed to fall down. And what that does is, if the user is not using this type of blaster and they go ahead and tilt upwards with the breech open, it won't allow more darts into the back area. Unfortunately, the Plusblow 3's jam prevention mechanism didn't work every time. The jam preventing tab was not designed with enough tension to consistently keep it pushed down into the magazine when the breech was open. It's not that hard of a problem to fix, but I was quickly sidetracked from this project because a new type of darts came out. The advantage of the Elite Streamlines over the original Streamlines was that they were much more accurate. Still terrible, but much more accurate than the classic Streamlines. Since Nerf also was selling these amazing 18-round magazines for these darts, The ease of making a high-capacity pump-action blowgun was too great to ignore. So my next blowgun project was the Plusblow 4. But I'm saving that and the other more modern and more 3D printed Nerf blasters for the next video. Until next time, keep blowing.